Howdy folks, the Old Eye Nick's here for the Old Eye's Pet Corner. About a week ago we started a campaign. One subscriber, one bone. We got 9 bones, 9 subscribers last week. You'll notice Nick's on the intro, and next week we'll find out how many subscribers we got, and we'll have Scooby.
It's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood. Okay, Nix, go to the bathroom. And off he goes, racing through the neighborhood until he finds the perfect spot.
Welcome to Yoldai's Pet Corner.
You ever notice how humans think we invented teamwork? Yeah. Animals have been doing it way longer, and without group chats, because today's story starts with a simple question. What would you do if the ocean decided you weren't leaving, but a dolphin disagreed? This is a true story. It happened in 2012, off the coast of New Zealand. And if it wasn't documented by marine biologists and local authorities, it would sound completely made up. But it's real. And it starts with silence. In the summer of 2012, a man named Adam Walker, an endurance swimmer with a goal to conquer the world's 7 toughest ocean crossings, entered the waters of Cook Strait. Located between New Zealand's North and South Islands, this isn't just any body of water. It's a notorious channel known as one of the most dangerous and unpredictable stretches of ocean on the entire planet. For swimmers, it's a brutal test of will against the raw power of nature. The dangers are relentless. Ferocious, bone-chilling currents that can drag a swimmer miles off course. Water temperatures that hover just above hypothermia levels. And unpredictable weather that can whip the calm sea into a churning vortex in minutes. And then, there are the sharks. The strait is a known hunting ground for some of the ocean's most formidable predators. This wasn't a casual swim. This was the 6th leg of the Ocean's 7, a marathon swimming challenge so demanding that only a handful of humans have ever completed it. It's the aquatic equivalent of climbing the 7 summits, requiring years of training, an iron will, and an unwavering support team. 8 hours in, halfway through the grueling 16-mile swim, Adam felt it. He was exhausted, fighting the cold and the current, but this was different. A sudden, perceptible shift in the environment around him. The chaotic noise of the ocean went quiet. Too quiet. It was an unnatural silence, the kind that signals a predator is near. And then, from the corner of his eye, he saw the shadow. A large, dark shape moving with unnerving speed and purpose in the deep blue below him. His heart pounded. It wasn't just one. He could now make out several. There was no mistaking the distinct, torpedo-like silhouette. Great white sharks had entered the area, drawn by the lone, struggling figure in their territory. On the support boat, the crew's focused calm shattered into panic. They knew the protocol. They knew the statistics. Once great white sharks start circling a swimmer, there is usually only one ending to the story, and it's never a good one. Before the crew could even process how to pull Adam from the water, before the panic on the support boat could fully take hold, something else arrived, a sudden explosion of movement from the deep. A pod of dolphins surfaced, fast, loud, and with undeniable intention. The sound was a cacophony of sharp exhalations and churning water, a stark contrast to the silent dread of moments before. They didn't scatter. They didn't flee from the danger lurking below. Instead, they moved with a purpose that was both stunning and immediate. In a display of breathtaking coordination, they formed a tight, protective circle around Adam, creating a living fortress of muscle and intelligence. Witnesses on the boat watched in awe as the dolphins began a series of deliberate defensive maneuvers. They repeatedly slapped the water with their powerful tails, creating a percussive barrier of sound and spray. They dove aggressively, positioning their bodies as shields between Adam and the circling sharks. This wasn't random movement, it was a masterclass in strategy. Marine biologists later confirmed this was classic defensive formation behavior. It's a tactic dolphins are known to use to protect their vulnerable young from predators. But what's truly remarkable is that they will, on rare occasions, extend this protection to other species they perceive to be in distress. For over 40 minutes, the dolphins stayed, holding their ground with unwavering resolve. An eternity for a man treading water, surrounded by both saviors and hunters. The great white sharks, apex predators accustomed to ruling the ocean, never breached the circle. The dolphins' unified front was a message, a boundary the sharks understood and respected. Adam later said he could feel the dolphins brushing past him, their sleek bodies making contact in the dark water. They stayed close enough to touch, a constant physical reminder that he wasn't alone, that in the vast and different ocean, help had arrived in the most unexpected form. Here's the part that matters. What happened out there in the Cook Strait wasn't a lucky coincidence or a charming ocean fairy tale. It was a calculated biological response rooted in millions of years of evolution. Dolphins are not nice by accident. Their altruism is a survival strategy, hardwired into their very being. To understand why they saved Adam, we have to look at what makes them one of the ocean's most sophisticated creatures. They are highly intelligent, with brains that are proportionally larger and more complex than most other animals, rivaling even our own in certain cognitive functions. They are extremely social, living in complex societies with alliances, rivalries, and deep family bonds that can last a lifetime, and they are known for cross-species protection, a rare behavior where one animal actively defends another from a different species. Studies published by marine behavior researchers show dolphins will often intervene when they perceive distress signals. They are masters of pattern recognition. They listen for panicked clicks from other marine life. They watch for erratic movements. Adam, depleted and fighting for every stroke, was unknowingly broadcasting a universal signal of distress. His exhaustion caused an irregular swimming pattern that, to a dolphin, is a clear and urgent alarm bell. To the dolphins, Adam didn't look like prey. A great white shark hunts with brutal efficiency, but it has a specific search image. Adam's flailing didn't fit the profile of a seal or a large fish. Instead, he looked like a pod member in trouble. In their world, a struggling companion is a vulnerability for the entire group. Protecting the weak is not just an act of kindness, it's an act of collective survival, so they acted, instantly. Using a complex language of clicks, whistles, and precise body language, they coordinated their defense, turning their pod into a single, strategic unit. This communication allows them to amplify their power, transforming a group of individuals into a formidable barrier. Their large, convoluted brains support advanced planning, long-term memory, and the ability to execute rapid, cooperative responses in high-stakes situations. They didn't just react, they assessed the threat, formulated a plan, and executed it flawlessly. These strong social bonds make protective behavior an instinct. It's a deeply ingrained protocol that ensures the pod's resilience. And sometimes, as Adam Walker discovered, that protective instinct extends across the species barrier. In risky waters, a defensive formation buys crucial time. It confuses a predator, disrupts its attack pattern, and creates a zone of safety. That strategy worked that day. And for countless others across the ocean, it often does. Eventually, the sharks retreated. The dolphins didn't. They stayed until the support boat safely guided Adam out of the danger zone. Only then did the pod peel away, one by one, disappearing back into the open water. Adam survived. He finished the swim, and later said something that stuck with everyone who heard the story. "They didn't save my life by accident. They chose to stay." But here's the thing. Dolphins aren't the only animals known to step between humans and danger. There's another story, involving an animal no one expects to protect anyone, especially when the threat comes from land, not sea. And this next one, it happened in broad daylight, with witnesses, and a decision that changed multiple lives forever. You'll meet them in a moment. Hey, let's go check in on Nix.
Hi, Dad. I love your stories. And if you at home enjoy them too, please, pretty please hit like and subscribe. It makes me so happy.
Thanks, Nix. Appreciate that, and welcome back, folks, for part 2. Now, for a quick recap, in part 1, we talked about the incredible story of the dolphin pod off the coast of New Zealand in 2012. They surrounded endurance swimmer Adam Walker, forming a protective barrier to drive away great white sharks that were closing in. They didn't leave his side until he was safe. This wasn't a trained behavior. There was no reward waiting for them. It was a conscious choice, a powerful display of interspecies empathy. It proves that dolphins can recognize distress, and sometimes they choose to protect someone who isn't even their own. What makes that moment so remarkable isn't just the outcome, it's the intention behind it. The pod adjusted formation, matched the swimmer's pace, and held position until the danger passed. That looks like assessment, coordination, and follow-through under pressure. In other words, not reflex, choice. Across the animal world, researchers have documented social cognition, attention to signals, reading of intent, and targeted responses to distress. Individuals can coordinate, deter threats, and maintain proximity to the vulnerable. These aren't random movements. They're structured behaviors that emerge from living in groups, where survival often depends on recognizing when another being needs help, and deciding to step in. In open water, seconds matter. Signals are subtle, body posture, speed changes, erratic motion, and yet they're read with astonishing clarity. Protection can look like forming a barrier, pacing alongside, or simply staying near until the danger is gone. Hold that idea. Recognition, intention, protection, because we're about to take it ashore. Different environment, different challenges, same core question. When an animal sees a crisis, can it choose to act? And here's where we leave the water with a question, not an answer. Maybe empathy isn't confined to the ocean at all. Up next, a true story on land that might change how you see animal decision-making. This story takes place in 2005 in Fayetteville, Georgia. It was a quiet morning on a small family farm, the kind of peaceful day where the biggest event is the sun climbing over the horizon. The skies were clear, the air was still, and for one woman, Kimberly Hall, it was the start of another routine day. She was doing chores outside when, without any warning, her body betrayed her. A severe asthma attack struck, and she suddenly collapsed. She fell unconscious, her world fading to black in an instant. There was no phone in reach. No one else was nearby to witness her fall. In the profound silence of the farm, this is where the story should have ended, but it didn't. Because someone noticed. Kimberly owned several animals, dogs, chickens, and one goat named Mandy. Instead of panicking or wandering off, Mandy did something no one expected. She left the farm, crossed property lines, and ran directly to the road. Witnesses later reported a goat standing in traffic, refusing to move, repeatedly bleating and blocking cars until someone finally stopped. When a passerby got out and tried to shoo her away, Mandy turned and ran, stopping, looking back and running again. It was as if she was saying, "Follow me." The driver did. The goat led the stranger straight back to the farm, and to Kimberly, who was still unconscious and struggling to breathe. Emergency services were called immediately. Doctors later confirmed that if help had arrived just a few minutes later, the outcome would have been tragically different. Mandy didn't just alert someone, she guided them. Kimberly owned several animals, dogs, chickens, and one goat named Mandy. Now, most farm animals, when faced with a crisis involving their human caretaker, might react with confusion or fear. They might huddle together, make noise, or simply carry on with their day, unaware of the gravity of the situation. Their world is one of routine, and a sudden break from that routine can be disorienting. But Mandy was different. Instead of panicking or wandering off, Mandy did something no one expected. She assessed the situation not with instinct alone, but with a clear sense of purpose. It was a choice that defied simple explanation. She left the farm. She crossed property lines, moving from the familiar safety of her home into the unknown. And she ran directly to the road. This wasn't a random act. It was a calculated move toward the one place she might find help. Witnesses later reported a goat standing in traffic, refusing to move. repeatedly bleeding and blocking cars until someone stopped. She was creating a deliberate obstruction, an undeniable signal that something was wrong. When a passerby finally pulled over and tried to shoo her away, Mandy didn't retreat. She turned and ran, stopping, looking back, and running again. It was an unmistakable invitation, almost like she was saying, "Follow me." The driver, intrigued and concerned, did. The goat led the stranger straight back to the farm, directly to Kimberly, who was unconscious and struggling to breathe. Emergency services were called immediately. Doctors later confirmed that if help had arrived just minutes later, the outcome would have been very different. Mandy didn't just alert someone, she guided them. Here's the important part. Goats are highly social, capable of forming strong bonds with their caretakers, and possess surprising problem-solving abilities. Animal behaviorists explained that Mandy's actions fit a pattern called goal-directed communication, behavior seen when an animal intentionally alters its environment to get help. This wasn't luck. It was decision-making. Mandy recognized a crisis and acted beyond instinct. Here's the important part. Goats are highly social, strongly bonded to caretakers, capable of problem-solving. Animal behaviorists later explained that Mandy's actions fit a pattern called goal-directed communication, behavior seen when animals intentionally alter their environment to get help. This wasn't luck, it was decision-making. Mandy recognized a crisis and acted beyond instinct. And here's the big reveal. Dolphins in the ocean, a goat on a farm, two completely different animals, two completely different environments, but the same choice. They didn't just react, which raises a powerful question. They stayed, they acted, they protected. Maybe animal heroes aren't rare. Maybe we've just underestimated them. Now, let's go check in on Rocky, Scooby, and Nix. Hey, enjoying our stories? Buy my dad a coffee. Thanks. On behalf of myself, my pups, and my dad, we thank you for watching.
Please remember to like
and subscribe. We get bones.
Christmas may be over, but you know what isn't? Cats and dogs still freezing, still hungry, still waiting. This winter, your local animal shelter needs help more than ever. Please donate today and help keep them warm, fed, and safe.